Hello and welcome to the first ever, many more to come, weekly hype podcast. Micah Murphy here. My partner will be here soon, Mario Velarde, and we're coming to talk to you about all things sports, all things hype this weekend, the weeks to come, and we're here to cover everything from football, baseball, basketball, boxing. We're here to do it all, but guess what, folks? It's football season. And football season is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover all things Niners and Raiders. I'm a Niner fan. My partner, I don't know, God forbid, is a Raider fan. I don't know what he's thinking.
God forbid, Micah, what are you talking about? It's all about Oakland. Now this show is going to be all about hype. If we can't get hyped about it, we're not going to talk about it because this show is the weekly hype. What's the weekend hype about? What's today about? Well, first we're going to talk about the weekend that was. Were the games hyped? Were we right or were we wrong? We're going to talk about Raider-Niners showdown. This is where me and Micah get into it.
Absolutely. This is where I tell him what it means to be a winner, what it means to wear the red and gold, and, you know, bringing that legacy back to the Bay Area.
This is where I give Micah an NFL education.
Love it.
We end it with the 2-minute drill.
The 2-minute drill will go ahead and cover all things coming up for the weekend and the sports week that will be. Coming up this week, we'll talk a lot about baseball playoffs. We'll talk about hype events that are coming up this weekend in regards to football, NFL. We'll talk a little fantasy. We'll get into fantasy football, talk about players whose stocks are on the rise, players whose stocks are plummeting, and your investments moving forward with the season.
We tell you what to look out for, what to watch, so you can know everything else.
Lastly, we'll end by punching your ticket to a victory regardless of what games you want to choose. We'll pick the winners every week. We'll pick a team that we decide is going to be our punch ticket of the week, and we'll knock it out of the park for you. So let's go ahead and get started with the weekend that was. This past weekend, a lot of stuff happened, a lot of interesting things, a lot of hyped events. One of my personal favorites, Giants visiting the Yankees in Yankee Stadium for the first time since the Giants moved out west and became the San Francisco Giants. What a magical weekend. Giants went into Yankee Stadium and owned the place. Giants fans came out and represented like we do, and we got a chance to see Mariano Rivera step out onto the field in Yankee Stadium for what looks like will be the last time in his career. Possibly the best closer to ever play the game. We got to witness it firsthand, and our Giants were on the field, not to mention the beautiful Giants victory that pursued. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about Giants baseball and A's baseball in particular coming up in the weeks to come. The A's right now are sealing their fate as possibly the best team in the American League. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Oakland?
I just have to say that if we're talking about the Giants playing in New York, and that's your highlight, Micah, that's a bad Giants season.
I gotta admit, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. But we'll see if the A's can bring home the rings like we have the last couple of years. Okay?
I'll give the Giants that. Great seasons. You know what I was really into? I was into the NFL this weekend.
Absolutely.
There wasn't a lot of boxing. Not like 2 weeks ago with the Mayweather fight, right? We had a ton of college football and everything. College football was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Bunch of blowouts. But this past weekend, the Niners got handled.
You're hitting me where it hurts. I call below the belt shot. How are we going to get into that right now?
Well, that talks about what happened this weekend. Last year's NFC playoff teams have a terrible record. Seahawks, sure enough, 3-0.
Sure.
But we have the 0-3 Redskins, the 0-3 Vikings,
the 1-2 Packers, the 1-2 Atlanta Falcons, the 1-2 San Francisco 49ers.
What is going on there?
Look, it's early. It's early. I think the Packers will be just fine. They always seem to put up enough points to make it to the playoffs in the long run. Their defense is looking better this year. I think they'll be okay.
But can they handle the 3-0 Bears? The 3-0 Saints?
Look, that division in the Central is going to come down to a slugfest. You can't count out Minnesota at any point just because they have Adrian Peterson and they've got some explosive players on offense. Look, we're talking Bears-Packers coming down to the last week of the season possibly to see who gets into the playoff as the division winner. I mean, this is nothing but hype, if you ask me. That division is going to come down to blows. We're talking Atlanta and New Orleans, who always have a great shootout whenever time they play each other. They're going to put up a lot of points against each other. It's going to come down to an offensive battle anytime they meet. But with Sean Payton back, I'm really liking the way the Saints are looking right now. They have, for once, a legitimate defense that could stand up and actually put a pounding on Atlanta when they come into the Saints' house.
Is this TNT or is this NFL? This is drama.
This is drama, and this is what we play the game for. This is what us fans look forward to every weekend. This is the hype that we look forward to. This Sunday, the Saints are going to show down with the 3-0.
Are you serious, Micah? The 3-0 Miami Dolphins?
The 3-0 Miami Dolphins. I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth. The Dolphins are legit. They look pretty good.
That is a legit Monday night showdown.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. You hyped?
I'm hyped.
I'm hyped. I'm sold. What do you want to talk about when it comes to Niners Raiders? We both got our...
When I said drama and I was talking about the NFL, I should have directed that drama at the Niners. Aldon Smith. Kaepernick getting excited about disses on Twitter?
Look, the kid's got some... He's young, all right? But there's no doubt about it, he's an explosive talent on the field. Look, he's had a couple of tough games. He's facing adversity. This is where he's going to step up, get mentored by Harbaugh. Harbaugh's an incredible coach. This is the first time since he's come to the Niners that he's lost back-to-back games. He's going to be pissed off for greatness. They're going to go ahead and go into St. Louis tomorrow and hand the Rams their rear end on a platter. Let me tell you that. And it's going to start by running the ball with number 21, Frank Gore.
Now, I can't argue about Harbaugh's pedigree. The guy wins. San Diego State, when he was with the Raiders, we were winning. Goes to Stanford, they win. Brings it to the Niners, they win. I like Harbaugh. But what's going on there? Frank Gore had 6 touches for 80 yards in the first half. I'm sorry, for 70 yards in the first half of that game. Second half, they come out, 3 rushes, gets nothing, and they hand the ball to him not one more time in that entire game.
Look, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. You're going to tell me how to coach my team. I gotta give the ball to Harbaugh and let him control the rock. Look, what they're doing in San Francisco, they're creating a winning formula. I can't question them. All I know is that they know they made mistakes with the run game. They're going to come out tomorrow night and smash the ball down St. Louis's throat. I don't think they abandon the run early. I think they go hard and heavy, and I think we end up winning by 2-3 touchdowns tomorrow.
Can you do it without Aldon Smith, without Patrick Willis, and without Vernon Davis? Willis and Davis are questionable for tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I don't know if Davis will play. I know we're without Aldon Smith indefinitely. Look, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on the defensive end because we proved we can't run the rock right now. We can't stop the run either. We're facing teams that typically would not have put up 60 yards against us in the run game. Now, we're facing teams like the Colts with a patchy offensive line that will go ahead and run the ball on us over 100 yards with Trent Richardson. I don't think that's accurate, actually. However, he did get a goal line carry and put it in our throats.
Last year, I predicted and bet against the Niners in the Super Bowl because I thought the Niners had a tough time against teams that were patient enough to keep the game close and keep running the ball. We're in a passing league, and the Niners thrive on teams that just keep throwing, just like they do against the Packers. But when they played the Vikings last year, when they played the Rams, and when they played the Seahawks, who did not stop running, or in the playoffs when the Falcons came out to a strong lead, running that rock, same thing in the Super Bowl. Running the rock, the Niners have a tough time. This year, Game 1, who are they playing? The Pack. What do they allow? 63 yards rushing. Game 2, who do they play? The Seahawks. They allow 172 yards rushing. Colts. The Colts are not a running team, but they knew the formula. They stuck to the run. They brought in Trent Richardson, but it was Bradshaw who took it home, and they got 179 yards rushing.
We're in dire straits here on the defensive end. We're looking like we are struggling. Ian Williams, our nose tackle, goes down broken ankle week 1. It's a terrible, terrible loss. We can't get him back. We're thinking like we're patching up that defensive line. It's looking like that's when teams are going to run on us. However, why are we spending so much time worrying about my Niners who are going to make the playoffs and be just fine? Let's shift gears to the Oakland Raiders.